This week on These Guys, we're going to be talking about three important topics. Number one, we're going to be talking about the Super Bowl, the halftime show, what to make of it. We're also going to be going into 3 tips you can start doing now to start changing your life. We're also going to be talking about Valentine's Day and what that's all about, as well as some key phrases you can say that mean more than, I love you.
But I love that phrase, and I don't have a problem with those subjects.
No problem.
Not a problem. So this episode's actually a little bit of a sad one when you think about it. People don't even realize, but this is actually our season finale for season 2.
Season finale.
Yeah, we've done 13 episodes just like we did in season 1. But we'll make it a good one.
Make it a good one.
Make it a good one.
Get ready for season 3.
Might be 3 guys in these guys.
You never know. These guys could be like 5. It could be a round table.
Yeah, it could be. Could be anything we want. But today it's just us 2. I'm going to go with the first one. I want to talk about that Super Bowl halftime
Hit it up.
show.
I'll get you started. Get the timer going.
Okay. So, obviously, most of you have probably seen by this point the Super Bowl halftime show, whether you watched it live or you watched it since. A lot of the world's going crazy with it. They usually go pretty crazy with it in general. A lot of people tune in to that particular football game for whatever reasons. I did not watch the game live, nor did I watch the halftime show live, but when everyone was talking about it, I decided to check it out. The fact that it involved one of my favorite bands in the world, being Coldplay.
You know how I know you're gay?
How?
You like Coldplay.
Made me a little bit more interested to check it out. So I did check it out, and I can see what the hype is behind this whole thing. For those of you who don't know, it involved Coldplay, Beyonce, and Bruno Mars, 3 of the biggest celebrities in the world right now, or band/celebrities, performing some duets, some combos, that whole mishmash that they usually do. And what was kind of different about this performance is that it had an underlying theme of love and coming together and community and stuff like that. One particular line that the Coldplay lead singer Chris Martin said that had the whole crowd going was like, "We're in this together." You know, and a lot of people were doing that. It was a very colorful event. And then it finished off with the whole summative announcement of like, believe in love. Now, the major undertone behind this that a lot of people are taking from is rooted in the LGBT community. Yep. And for me, seeing that on such a main scale event that so many people in the US are watching is nice to see.
Yeah.
It really shows how far we've come in particular issues, one being in regards to LGBT related issues, in terms of acceptance or at least active promotion of trying to make that shift. Yep. So for me, it's nice to see this. I mean, I'm always skeptical of everything when it comes to these things. I've watched a whole bunch of the Super Bowl halftime shows in the past. There's been a lot of dark undertones and things that are kind of questionable. So I'm curious to see if some secret bill was passed while this was all going on to distract us. Who knows? But I haven't seen anything yet. So I do appreciate what actually happened within the show itself. The one thing I did want to say, just about the whole LGBT commentary, because I know there's a lot of people that have different opinions on this, and I respect everybody's opinions, and I understand if you're really against whatever the case may be, you have your own reasons for that. But the one thing that I think we can't come up with a sound argument for is, and I'm going to have to throw my towel on the first topic.
He's got to do it.
This is going to be hard later, but it's okay. One thing that I can't find a sound argument for is an argument that LGBT issues are a pressing matter, a top priority.
Yeah.
That's the thing. There are so many things going on in this world that need to be addressed, that to put so much focus on that being a top thing that needs to be looked at right now and changed and done stuff just seems nonsensical.
Yeah.
There's so many things that are actually drastically impacting the world, drastically impacting the way that we live, that needs to be focused on. So show me a strong argument that we need to be looking at that, regardless of your view.
Alrighty. Whew. I think this goes back to world's got to learn to let people be sometimes.
Yes.
Especially when they're not infringing on anybody. But religious institutions.
They're scary.
Yeah.
You got your little piece on the Super Bowl ready?
I got my piece.
Okay. You got
my
1
piece.
minute. I already lost my towel. God damn it. Okay. You're off.
All right, the interesting part of it for me is it shows kind of the undertones of the collective subconsciousness, i.e. like when everybody saw what had happened in the Super Bowl halftime, I got text messages, I got stuff on Facebook, all this stuff saying like, hey, did you see the flower of life that happened?
Yeah.
Did you see the believe in change? And I think one of the most inspiring things, again, whether or not there was a differing thing going on, the most inspiring things was the fact that people were like, they had something to talk about that wasn't, hey, did you see the nipple slip? Did you see when they kind of grabbed each other too sexually? It was more so like, did you see that they were actually talking about like unity and love? And it's something that I think as a whole is a more positive message for humanity to rally around.
That's nice.
You know, that to me was a big point. That was something that was important. And I think one of the key things here is that sometimes, while pop culture, while the media, all these sorts of things have done things to manipulate people, it doesn't mean that everything they do is going to be bad.
But you got the next one, which you get 2 minutes for.
Yeah.
Plus a potential tell.
Yeah.
You're going to be talking about some changes / tips that we can implement now
I mean, are you kidding me?
to change our lives. I like the practicality of that. I'm
Kidding.
curious. I'm curious
Kidding.
to see what you got to say. Go ahead.
First off, why am I doing this? Okay, so we've learned a lot about people want to know how. They want to know what they can do. They want to know action. And they come to websites to find more about stuff. They come to different people who are doing stuff. How do, yeah, you're sharing great information, but how do I actually do it? We were on Bulletproof Radio on a podcast the other day, and the question was asked, like, what are the 3 things that you would do right now, or you would tell somebody to start living a more conscious life, or a more inspired life, that sort of thing.
That's a good question.
And I decided, why not talk about that? Why not throw out 3 things? So I'm going into my own experience, and I'm going to be talking about 3 things that I think are incredibly important and why. First one is meditation. Why I think meditation is very important is because when I look at what meditation has done for my life, it's brought more peace, it's brought more joy, it's brought more clarity, it's brought more energy, it's reduced stress, anxiety.
Wow.
The benefits are endless, right? But what this allows us to do is it allows us to operate in life from a different space of knowing ourselves and how to operate, but then also how to do the things we want to do and to do them from a more inspired point of view. So meditation, even if for just 5 minutes a day, is incredibly important. Yep. Number 2, I'm going to go with movement, i.e. like getting the body going, right? Whether you dance, whether you exercise, it doesn't matter, whatever it is, yoga. There's tons of different modalities out there, but movement puts your mind and your body into a different state. With movement, it's like you're forgetting about the mundane stuff, the stagnant stuff that your mind is thinking about, and it gets you off that and onto a different path, onto a different frame of mind. And you'll notice the creativity that comes from that is huge. Not to mention the energy and the overall physical benefits that come with just being able to move and having mobility. Yeah. Hugely important. The final thing is determine what inspires you.
I have no idea what's going on.
So actually think about it. Take an exercise, like sit down one night after you go home from work, school, whatever it might be, and go, what inspires me? Not what someone else's idea of an amazing thing to do is, but what actually inspires you. Find out and do it.
Don't tell me what to do.
No towel needed. When I saw like 20 seconds and you still have to touch the third one, I'm like, we're going to see a towel here.
I could have chucked a towel because I wanted to give someone like a little more of a tool how to find out what inspires them, but maybe we'll just throw in a link or something.
Those help too. Those are pretty good.
Do something like that.
I got 1 minute to add on to things that maybe people can do. So obviously I can't give 3 in 1 minute, but I'm going to do the same type of thing, things that have worked for me, some that I'm actually actively doing right now, just playing with, and then I've already been feeling a difference. So the first one I want to talk about that can also incorporate some of the things that Joe said is making time for yourself. Ooh. I mean, that is a tough thing to do. We all have families, we all have relationships or other commitments in life, work, whatever, you name it, that we don't remember to take enough time for ourselves in the day to actually, whether it be doing a particular activity that you enjoy or just taking some time completely to yourself where you're not distracted by something, where you're not engaging in some form of technology, to just, doing something that's not just you time.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, making time for that. That's monumental in my books. And the second one, the one that I've been playing with more and more this year, it just keeps hitting me in the face, is no tech time.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me!
Ooh, you need no tech time. And like, even if it's just in the morning, taking some time away before you start tech, or at nighttime at sleep, putting your phone actually on airplane mode, so there's actually nothing bouncing in there as highly, there's things like that. Find ways to get away from the technology for this part of the day.
That's it, that's all. And with the rise of wearable technology and these sorts of things that don't get me wrong, do have some benefit.
Yeah.
You still got to find the time. That, or they got to stop designing technology that kind of interacts negatively with the human form.
Well, good luck with all that.
That would be dandy. That would be dandy.
Alrighty. So, think about Valentine's Day coming up in a couple of days. I don't know if you have a date. I don't know if I have a date.
Who knows?
Both in relationships, so we probably have dates. But
yeah, it's likely.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Okay. So obviously, when this episode comes out, maybe it might be just after, who knows. But Valentine's Day, time of year, regardless. It's a time that, a lot of people start feeling those extra romantic feelings, start doing the extra romantic gestures. I mean, we all know it is a man-made consumer holiday. That's the ultimate thing. We're all spending money on our significant others, which of course has good intentions behind it most of the time, but we're doing it because we've decided to collectively create something, and there's certain things we need to do. We need to go out for dinner that night. We need to buy this and do that and buy flowers, whatever the heck it may be.
Yeah.
So we spend a lot of money that we probably wouldn't spend on February 19th or on, I don't know, March 14th, whatever random days we want to pick, but we decide to spend it on February 14th because that's what we collectively do.
Yeah.
So what I want to just kind of encourage people this Valentine's Day is to look at it a little bit differently. If you still want to do those gestures, no problem. And of course, there's the synonymous saying with Valentine's Day of I love you. And and I love you is a wonderful phrase, especially when it's loaded behind it, where it's actually fully meant and felt and you appreciate everything about the person.
I love you.
But I want to talk about a couple of alternative phrases that are also important to maybe spice up your Valentine's Day. So it's not just about the I love you and the giving of the gifts and the gestures. A couple of other phrases that I think are just as important, if not more important. First one is, I love me, or I love myself. Because I honestly, really, truly think that the most solid foundation you could build for a relationship is two individuals that genuinely love themselves for exactly who they are and see the other person and the relationship as just an extension to their happiness and not the basis for their happiness. That's a big one for me. The second one I want to throw out there is thank you. The whole idea of gratitude. Why I say that, I know thank you gets thrown around a lot. It's something we even casually say when someone just holds a door for us. So it kind of maybe loses its merit, loses value in some people's books. But the truth is, thank you when actually felt, when grateful for everything that individual brings into your life, even the challenges, even the hardship that they've helped co-create, when you're actually grateful for them being there, for challenging you, for making you into who they are, can be extremely powerful. Happy Valentine's Day.
Binga, banga. And the key to that is the meaning behind the word.
Yes.
Yeah. Consciousness creates reality, especially when there's meaning behind it. When there isn't, sometimes it's just not gonna.
Yep. Yep.
All right.
You can elaborate?
I got a lot to say. But I got
Still have a towel. You
We'll
still
see
do. Yeah. You're off.
Okay, I'm going to dive into the history. I mean, you said something interesting. It's a man-made concept, man-made holiday. Let's find out. So I'm going to pull this in. Lupercalia, I'm hoping I'm saying this properly. This is the festival that kind of started Valentine's Day way back in the day during the times when the Romans were around. And the whole festival was a fertility festival. So what was happening was people were actually sacrificing a goat and they were sacrificing a dog.
What the heck are you talking about?
In Rome, in the area, in the caves where Rome was founded, and actually where the founders of Rome were raised, let's be clear. And it would all be about fertility. They would then go around with the hides and they would kind of lightly tap the citizens around the city and be like, hey, we're celebrating fertility. And for the women, it was like, yay, I'm going to be more fertile this year, this, that, whatever. And this is what it was all about.
Yeah.
Long story short, it got ended up misconstrued, and when the Catholic Church came in and all this sort of stuff, and it started to become outlawed over here, but this over here, and then the church made it different with this whole Saint Valentine thing, but nobody can really know who Saint Valentine is, exactly what he was all about, or anything like that. So that's the history of it. And you look at, as we've come through time, it's become more of a, now we're spending money. And I think it's kind of to the point where it's great to celebrate love, and it's great to celebrate these things, but it's also great to know why are we even doing it, or do we really need money? When something becomes such a materialist thing, it's like, are we missing the point? And so maybe the challenge is, I'm out of time.
Just say it.
Maybe the challenge is, try doing something this Valentine's Day without dig deep, find something that's a little different than the dinner or than the chocolates, and see what's meaningful to you.
Okay.
I'm gonna get in trouble.
You can't do that!
The referee's probably already appeared by the time he's saying this.
Oh boy.
I don't know. The cutaways don't happen this live. But that's been another season of these guys.
That's been another season, not just episode.
Yep.
Season.
It's been a good growing experience. It's very grateful for everything we've gone through. I love the show.
Yep.
I love the direction it's going, and excited to see
audience.
where it continues to go. Love you guys.
Yeah. That's all.
These guys.
These guys. Bill Rafone. Bill Rowe. Boo. My name is Pleen Loon.
Pleen.
Pleen? You don't like Pleen?
Pleen.
What do you think of this little grass down at the bottom here?
It's a key.